Enough of that commercial break. 10:12. Welcome back, Daily Show. Randy Raley in. The 2026 midterms are already here. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, it is. It is crazy that we're starting already. The Democratic primary is St. Patrick's Day next year, so I'm thinking
you'll be here before you know it.
Yeah, get drunk and vote. Just pull the lever.
No better incentive than beer and fried chicken to stand in a voting line.
Exactly.
The old American way. Yeah. Randy Raley's in, and you're challenging to be the Democratic candidate against Mary Miller for the 15th district in Illinois.
Yes, that's true, and it all started. I lived in Missouri for quite some time, and then I just got tired of Missouri turning into Mississippi. And first it's Josh Hawley, and then it's Eric Schmidt, and it's like, holy cow. And then Missouri tries to go against the will of the people. The people put a ballot on, people put a thing on the ballot, and they vote on it, and they approve it, and then the Missouri legislature says, no, can't do it. We're going to put it on the ballot again. So it's like, holy cow. So I moved to Illinois, and that's not the reason I moved to Illinois. I moved in with my girlfriend, and I had a little problem in Highland. That's where I live. And I tried to get a hold of my representative, Mary Miller. Called her, emailed her, wrote her a letter, and I didn't hear anything back. And I just thought, well, that's kind of weird. And so I did a little bit of researching on Mary Miller, and I found out that this is the way she is. She just doesn't care about the people in her district. And so I'm on Social Security, and I'm retired, and I'm on Medicare too. And so I woke up in January going, holy cow, this is kind of scary for me. And I just kept going, okay, somebody's got to come and save us. Superman, Batman, some Green Lantern, Aquaman, somebody's got to come and save us. And so I decided that maybe that somebody was me. And so I made a phone call to a friend of mine, and the next thing you know, I'm running for Congress.
Well, and now this is where I find it fascinating, because you're upfront with it, because a lot of times candidates don't, tell people, hey, I lived in Missouri this long, I'm recently here. It's really kind of just different to hear that. And my question is, when someone asks, whenever they're deciding to pick your name on that Democratic primary or whatever ballot it's on, when they ask, hey, you've been in Missouri for quite some time, and do you really know the true issues, in this district? What's your answer to that?
Well, I've lived in Highland for 4 years. Okay. And and one of the things about the campaign is that I'm getting out and I'm finding out what the issues in the district, are. And we've got a number of them. As I go through the district, I find out that Alhambra needs a water tower, and we've got a place over in Christian County needs a new sheriff's office, and we've got infrastructures in the district that are wearing out. And we're trying to get Mary Miller to get some federal funds into the district, and she, for some reason, has refused to do so. And I don't understand. All you have to do is write a letter or something like that, and you get the funds released. Now, Nikki Brzezinski, who is in the 13th, I believe.
She's been on the show a couple of times.
And she, I'll look at my wrap up and be like, hey, Nikki got $600,000 and she got $60,000 for this, and all of this money bringing into the district. And I'm looking at Mary Miller's tally, and there's zero. And so I don't understand what her, I almost think that she has abandoned the district.
Well, there's been, and this isn't a bias thing, Randy. It's not even me picking sides, because I just don't do it. Even with the local stuff, is the fact that, there's been a lot of local media wanting comment from the office, and we don't get it, Right. So it's not just, it's not a bias thing. It's just, I think there's a correlation there to at least say the least.
Well, and the thing of it is that it's not really a Republican thing or a Democrat thing.
I don't believe so either.
It's a taxation without representation thing. And this goes back to the core of why we overthrew the King of England, is because it was taxation without representation. And it just seems like that Mary, number one, voted to keep the Epstein file secret. Number two, she voted for the big, bad, beautiful bill, or whatever it is, which is going to devastate her district. She's also co-sponsored H.R. Bill 1319, which will basically make an employee of a company an independent contractor, and you won't be able to get overtime. You'll have mandatory tenant time. All you got to do is look it up. It's H.R. Bill 1319, co-sponsored by our wonderful district representative, Mary Miller. And if that passes, it's going to kick the middle class to the curb. It really is.
Well, and I'll follow up on that. I wanted to touch back on the big, beautiful bill just because you brought it up. You mentioned it affecting your district, the 15th district, pretty substantially negatively. What are some of those subject, those terms in that bill that you see impacting the district in a negative light?
Well, we have many nursing homes who are probably 75, 80% Medicaid, okay? And so what happens if those particular Medicaid benefits, if they're even shrunk, okay, what's going to happen to that? What's going to happen to grandma when she's in the hospital, okay? What's going to happen to the people who work in that hospital? And that's another thing. These hospitals are kind of in small communities around. We've got one up in Carrollton, I believe, that's thinking about probably, they just did their numbers and they're like 79 or 80% Medicaid. Well, okay, if you're going to cut that out, what's going to happen to the district? And that's the thing that really scares me. Now, there's a list of about 7 nursing homes in the district that will close. Not hospitals, but nursing homes that will close. And it's, again, what are you going to do with grandma? Yeah. What are you going to do with the people, not only grandma, but the people who need that particular service and the people who are employed by that particular service? And I don't think Mary Miller cares. I really don't think she cares, because Mary Miller, there are 2 millionaires in our district. Guess which one of them are hers? She's one of them. Wow. And she just doesn't, I think she has aligned herself with big business and all of that. And I think it's frustrating, not only for Democrats, but for Republicans, too, because, all right, they live in that district, too. Mm-hmm. They're the ones, that need a water tower. It's everybody. And that's the thing that I'd like to represent, for the fact that what I'm doing right now, CJ, is I'm getting out in the district and I'm listening. I'm listening to people tell me what's going on, in Hillsborough, what's happening, in Clinton. And I'm trying to get, a good list. And what's happening with our farmers. Do you know that corn is not even $4 a bushel, and it's like a 19-year low?
Wow. And that's devastating for a lot of those farmers. Yeah.
And I talked to a farmer in Springfield who's going to have to take crop insurance.
Wow.
That's more money off of the government. And if I may say so, if you're taking money from the government, that is kind of a socialistic kind of thing to do. And you know what? And I don't think the farmers want to do that. I really don't think they do, because they're proud people. And we need to find out exactly what's happening with the farmers, with the union guys, okay? Because if this 1319 passes, union guys are in big trouble. Big trouble.
And what I find fascinating is you're talking a lot about infrastructural improvements and really just things that are not really partisan issues. Like, the
stuff
farmers,
wears out.
Yeah, farmers' corn crop prices are not a Republican or Democratic issue.
It is not.
And I find it really, fascinating when you're going and talking with people across the district, especially just in the early stages of this. What are some of those farmers saying to you? What would they like to see happen if, they did have that quote unquote representation here? What would that prospective bill, what would that measure look like to protect them?
Well, I think they want government to get out of everything.
That's true. I think that's very fair.
You know what I mean? It's like, okay, all right, with these tariffs that the president announced. Okay, well, China's now buying their soybeans from Brazil. They're buying their beef from Australia. They basically told us to go screw ourselves. And so now what's going to happen in the future? And see, this is the thing that is just really, really a part of my world now. And I've been in, there are 35 counties in the district. I've been to 28 of them. Wow. I'm in Decatur tonight. I'm in Hillsborough tomorrow. And it's interesting to just find out, not only with Democrats, but how disappointed the Republicans are with her too. Because again, she basically, all right, she's off for 6 weeks. Okay, they released for the Epstein files. They didn't want to vote on it, and so they were cowards and they went home. Okay, so she's going to be home for 6 weeks. How many town halls is she going to hold? I'll tell you right now, the over-under for me is 0. Okay, because she seems to be. And I will use this, she seems to be very cowardice. She seems to be a coward when it comes to her district. I don't know what the problem is. The thing about being a politician that I'm finding out is that you have to take it good or bad. True. And you have to be able to stand up and you have to say, okay, I voted for this and here's the reason why.
Right.
You may not like the reason why, but you have to have the courage enough to stand in front of your people and go, okay, here's why I did what I did. But We don't know anything about Mary. She's here's one thing about her. She doesn't live in the district. She doesn't pay taxes in the district. She doesn't have a business in the district. Now, she's a big cattle rancher over on the east side of Illinois. Her business, for the longest time, she leased it to a company in Delaware. And the reason why she did that is that she didn't want to pay Illinois taxes. Are you kidding me?
Well, I want to follow up on that too, because this is something more in Missouri, but it still happens across the Midwest.
Sure.
And that's the idea and really the notion that foreign companies and foreign interests are buying up farmland all across the Midwest. In Missouri, it's rampant with Chinese interests buying it up. In Illinois, I'm not too sure on that. Have you heard any of the complaints that come from constituents on that?
I have not.
Okay.
Not anything yet about foreign companies. I don't know how prevalent it is in Illinois.
I'm not for sure.
And that's something that I will have to research. I know it's pretty prevalent in Missouri, maybe because Missouri has allowed that to happen. I don't know. Maybe Illinois doesn't, but I'm not versed on that particular subject.
Well, and just because your district's really a fascinating geography.
Oh, man.
You know, I mean, it is really something to look at.
I call it the fortune cookie district because it looks like a fortune cookie. It does, yeah.
Well, and you know, right now the national topic has been in the last 2 days this gerrymandering thing in Texas, and you know, Governor Pritzker took in some of these reps and they're talking. I'm not really too worried about the gerrymandering here because we all know that Illinois is a little bit different with how our districts are.
Yeah.
But your district kind of incorporates both sides of the aisle in a really unique way.
It goes all the way from south of Rock Island,
right,
all the way to the Indiana border, and it goes all the way to Alton and Granite City. And I'm in Highland and part of Edwardsville. And you want to talk about gerrymandering? I really can't say a whole lot about that because this is probably, this was gerrymandered to give the Republicans a seat. And my deal is that she has mishandled it so badly that I think it's up for play. I really do. And my deal is, again, the primary is not until March. We've got all this time to go. I really want to get down and I want to talk and listen to the people in the district, one-on-one, face-to-face, or go see them in the cafes or the bars all around the district and be able to represent red or blue, the feelings and concerns for the people in the district.
Well, and that's what I was kind of getting at, too, because we do have a unique district in the 15th and even the 13th, too, because it's a lot of, in my opinion, just from our conversations we've had on the show, a lot of the older school kind of version of democratic policies, the union-style thinking, and then you have the new kind of nuanced MAGA conservative thought process here, too. There's a lot of different ones. So to be able to say, hey, I'm ready to listen to everybody is important.
And you know, the thing about it is us Democrats have shot ourselves in the foot. Here's why. The things we ran on the last election, my district doesn't give a whit about. You know what I mean?
You're right. I mean, you're 100% right.
They don't care.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care about transgender and all of that kind of stuff because they're just trying to get by. And so I think the Democrats have got to get rid of the status quo. We have got to become the party that has the message that says, we're better than this. Yeah. We're better than this. You deserve better representation. But I think our message has got lost with all of the, and I hate to say it, political correctness that's going on and all that. And we're not we're talking at people. We're not talking with people. And that's the thing that I'm trying to get through is that it doesn't matter if you're a Republican. Let's find some kind of common ground where we can lift this district up and make life better for everybody. And like I said, if you don't look like me or pray like me or love like me, I will represent you too. Now, if you are a church-going guy on Sunday and all of that, I will represent you because it's a big, wide district and it covers a lot of land. And so there's going to be a lot of different interests in the district, and it's going to be hard to put a coalition together, but at least I'm willing to sit and listen.
And I think that's really important to kind of pause on. Can we take a break together and we'll come back?
Absolutely.
I got to pay
your show, brother.
You know about this. I got to pay a quick bill. Hey, it's 1027, and Centerstone's a national leader in mental health and substance use disorder treatment for people of all ages. They come and join us on the show twice a month. They're getting ready for a big merger. But when it comes to Centerstone, what I think is so important is they use evidence-based practices in their treatment programs. It's not this generic template from 15 years ago. It's tailor-made based on them and that individual's family. And if you guys go to centerstone.org, what you see on your screen, you realize that your mind is what matters. You can learn all about those programs, whether or not you need them personally for substance use disorder treatment, or you, a loved one, your friend. You never know when you need that information until you need to know it. So learn it ahead of time just in case you do need it at centerstone.org. You can also call 1-877-HOPE-123 to get started today and learn more about their behavioral health programs too. Join us on the first and last Wednesday of each and every month as we talk about that national partner in Centerstone.
Oh no, another bad headache?
Yeah.
Maybe it's time to see your doctor.
OSF Healthcare can handle all of your family's primary care needs, including diagnosing health issues or referring you to a specialist. Schedule an appointment today.
For the biggest selection of pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in the Riverbend, visit AltonToyota.com or stop by their location on the Homer Adams Parkway in Alton. Winner of the prestigious President's Award, Munganast Burkhardt Alton Toyota knows how to treat their customers, and it will help you find the vehicle that is perfect for you. For years, Munganast Toyota has been a fixture in the Riverbend, and now Munganast Burkhardt carries the tradition. New name, but the same great service you've come to expect.
Yo, what up? It's Mike Keith, the proud graduate of Lewis and Clark Community College. I got my start in broadcasting and now I work all over the country. I discovered my path in media, but I could have been an electrician. Or I could have been a nurse.
Maybe not.
With over 20 years of experience, Wilson's Tree Service has the expertise to handle all of your tree care needs. Licensed and fully insured, their team of experts are dedicated to providing reliable service. Plus, with a 24-hour emergency service line, Wilson's will always be there for you. Don't risk tackling that timber by yourself. Trust the local professionals at Wilson's Tree Service. Visit treeservicealtonil.org to get started today.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Then that time I went and said goodbye. Now I'm back and not ashamed to cry. Ooh, baby, I am fine.
Great bumping music, man.
Thank you very much.
That's nice.
I always have to. All the kids make fun of me because I don't have any like rap or anything on there. It's all old school.
Hey, any Stevie Wonder's good, brother.
Me and ELO and Stevie Wonder go very well together. Did you go to Jeff Lynne's last show in St. Louis?
I did.
It was awesome, wasn't it?
It was magnificent. Now, I saw that tour up in Chicago about 4 years before, and the only difference was that Jeff Lynne was 4 years younger.
Yep, and he can move a little bit better. Yep. Well, I have biggest props to anybody that puts their name on the ballot, especially when it comes to a district-wide race like this for National Congress, because it's a lot of work.
It is.
What have you learned along the way?
Oh, that it's a lot of work. No, I've got a great campaign manager. I've been lucky. My campaign manager talked to the other people running, and she decided to choose me, and that's been great. She says, okay, you're going to be here, and you're going to be here at this time, and you're going to stay until this time, and you're going to go here, and so far it's been working out pretty well. It's just a lot of windshield time, brother. This is a huge. I was in Carthage the other night. Carthage is like 50 miles north of Quincy, and it's a 3 hour cruise, man.
You know what I think's funny about this? We all see the C-SPAN and the Big Four news channel sound bites, and don't realize all the harder work that's got and the groundwork that's put in to get there. It is, and it's just what it is now is I think we're probably about maybe 6 or 7% into the campaign, and so far it's actually been fun to meet people and to talk to people and just to get in front of people and tell them my story.
story about, hey, why am I the guy that you need to pick run against Mary Miller? Because I'm going to take all this stuff to her. I'm going to take it to her, man, because you need to answer to all of this stuff.
Well, and honestly, in a non-biased political way, you have to have a candidate that's willing to do that too. You can't run a quote-unquote traditional campaign here. You have to question the mind of the voters here.
Well, here's the thing. There were so many people in the district that did not vote last time because she ran unopposed.
Gotcha. Okay? I get you there. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm not going to get the 30%. That is going to be MAGA live or die.
Yeah.
I'm not going to get those people. They're not even going to listen to me. But the people that I want to talk to are the people that did not vote last election. And I would like to say, okay, maybe now here's an opportunity for you to cast a ballot.
I will say this, and not again, that's just an observational thing. You never know what a moment between Mary Miller and President Trump looks like where she doesn't agree, and all of a sudden he's telling his base, hey, we don't want her anymore. And he's done that before, so you never know in this type of race.
And that's the problem with Mary Miller. She is like whatever he wants to do. Whatever he wants to do, she will put her stamp on it. I don't even think she thinks about it. It's just the fact that that's the way it is. Now, I'm not running against President Trump. That's not the thing.
It's very important to know.
I am running against Mary Miller and the lack of attention that she has put on this district when it comes to, bringing federal dollar. Her quote was, federal money should not be used for local projects. Now, wait a minute. That's your job. That's your job to get that federal money to build a new water tower in Alhambra, to build a new sheriff's department in Christian County, to take care of the problems that we have in this district. Man, I'll tell you what, you head up towards northern Illinois, the roads are absolutely awful.
Oh, they're pitiful. I mean, that's just not even a bias thing. It's just pitiful.
And the thing about it is, okay, if we fix the water tower in Alhambra, there's a good union jobs, okay? We fix the sheriff's office in Christian County, good union jobs. And people have asked me, how do we make our unions more powerful? Get more people in the union.
100%. Well, and see, a thing that you said too, and I think it's important to touch on, is that you touched on Mary Miller's voting record of being pretty much all in line with what the presidential policies, or even then candidate Trump's policies were going back to 2018.
Sure.
And I think the problem, not even a problem, but the question I think that needs to be asked is, do you want somebody to say yes every time? And no matter if it's on this side of the coin or if it's Nikki Budzinski voting yes for a Joe Biden administration, yes every time. It has to be for the district.
It has to be for the district, and that's the problem that we've come here. And I will blame the Democrats. I will blame the Democrats, saying that, okay, again, what are we doing for the people that we want to get to vote for us? Are we listening? And here's the thing. When you go to these small towns around the district, people are just trying to get by.
Exactly. They aren't really giving a damn on what's on the big four. They're trying to pay their bills.
They're just trying to get by.
Yeah.
And our message before has not resonated with those people.
Yeah.
Okay, we've lost rural America. The Democrats have lost rural America. Okay, I'd like to, in my own little way, as Muhammad Ali said when he beat Sonny Liston, he says, "I shocked the world. I'm shocking the world." And I want to do that because this is one of the reddest districts in the country.
True.
It's a red plus 20.
Yeah.
Now, if I can listen to the people in my district and make an impact on their lives and talk to them about their future and where it's going, I think this could be a very grassroots, person-to-person kind of thing. Now, Mary's got millions of dollars in her treasury to spend on advertising and all that. I don't.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just a schmo out there trying to make the world better. But I think if we can talk to the people where they live, about the circumstances of their life, about the things that are important to them. What is important to you? My kids, my grandkids. Okay, what are we going to look like 40 years from now under a Trump administration? What is this country going to look like? And who's going to? And it just seems to be that we have lost our empathy somewhat in this country for people who didn't do as well as we did, or who look different, pray different, or love differently than we did. I can remember, I don't know what happened to us, but I can remember back in the 70s, maybe it was before social media and all that. Yeah, we didn't care. We didn't care. My daughter went to went to school in suburban St. Louis, and there was a person named Sean. And this was early. Sean was like 8 or 9 years old, and Sean wasn't really quite sure who Sean was. You know, one day Sean would show up and be a little bit more feminine, and the next day it'd be a little bit more masculine. But you know, we thought about it. That's just Sean.
Well, see, and that's where it goes back to what I think you said earlier so well, is that everyone's got to drop the political correctness thing and just get back to being people. You know, it's meeting people where they're at.
Exactly.
Sean. You know, Jim down the streets. Jim down the street.
He's just Jim down.
Right.
Down the street.
What color his hair is in?
And that's the thing, that we have become so attentive and so concerned with stuff that really doesn't matter.
Yeah,
really,
it's all superficial stuff.
Doesn't matter.
And I think that's where it gets so interesting with your race, and that's why I did take interest in this right away, because it's a race that really is, like you said, plus 20. It's a deep red district,
sure,
but it's missing the customer service aspect of it, which is still part of the job, and that's meeting people where they're at, and you're willing to do that.
And the thing of it is that I will never be afraid to hold a town hall. Hey, I've been in radio for 48 years. There's nothing you can say that's going to offend me, brother. Ain't a thing. I've been called every name in the book.
You were back whenever they still had the tracks going.
Exactly. So I have no problem standing up and taking the heat. Okay, that's what being a politician is part of. You have to take the heat if the people don't agree with you, and explain to them why you did what you did.
Well, exactly, because that's being a leader. They aren't going to agree with you every time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, and if they are, then there's a problem.
Yeah. Yep. And with such a wide variety of people in this district, I'm going to probably vote on something where this part of the district's going to go, what are you doing?
Yep.
And then my job is to come to this part of the district and explain what I did. Mm-hmm. Now, may not like it afterwards, but please grant me the respect that I came and told you why I did this. Another thing about it, if you have a problem in this district and you want to get a hold of me in Washington, you will never receive a form letter, ever, and there will not be a robocall. I will have enough people in my particular staff that will be able to answer your questions, because, you know, it's not my district, it's not Mary Miller's district, it's the people's district. Very true. It belongs to the people. And like I say, I may have to cast a vote in Washington that I don't like.
Right.
Okay? But if this is what the people of the district want, then it's my job to represent them in that way.
100%. And now, before I let you go, because we've been talking for a little bit of change now, what's the wildest thing you've heard on the campaign trail so far?
The wildest thing that I've heard came from Mary Miller. Okay, I got to say, it came from Mary Miller, and she said that she doesn't believe in climate change because God tells the sun what to do.
That's a theory. So let me.
I mean, Mary, I'm sorry. I think you took a break in science class in high school. I think you skipped a couple of classes. Okay.
Now let me ask you about your radio career. Did you ever think that you'd be running for office 40 years ago?
No, but I've always had an interest in politics.
Did you really? Okay.
Always, ever since I was a very young boy, I've been interested in the inner workings, and I was a big fan of Conjunction Junction and all that.
What's your function?
All that stuff. How do you start a bill?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, and I always find the conversation when people talk about media personalities and journalists,
right.
Why are you guys finally getting into this? It's because I think that whenever you talk to as many people as you do over the course of a broadcasting career, you do get a lot of different perspectives.
You do, and you listen to your people. And let me tell you, as we're wrapping it up here, there's one bigger thing that's kind of pushing me here. My brother was my hero, 8 years older than me, and he did 2 tours in Vietnam.
Wow.
Okay, so for 3 days, and we have the accommodation or the accreditation to prove it. He went fighting the Viet Cong hand to hand in the jungles of Vietnam, and this was like you see in the war movies and Saving Private Ryan and all that kind of stuff. He had to call in air support and all that, and he did it for 3 days. Okay, and the sacrifice that he made for his country is something that I will never ever be able to duplicate. But maybe this will take a little bit of the guilt off my shoulders that I was never to serve my country like he did. And so I think it's me wanting to, number one, my brother's passed a long time ago, but me wanting to please him in that way, and me also wanting to take the sacrifice to serve my country. I was a big John Kennedy fan, man, and those true words that he said, ask not what your country can do for you, but ask what you can do for your country. Those ring into my ears all the time, brother.
Really fascinating, man. Yeah. It's been a great conversation. Thanks for stopping by.
Oh, I know. I appreciate it, and thank your buddy Lee.
Oh, yeah. Well,
he said, hey, you need to talk to CJ, and I'm like, okay, well, I'll talk to CJ then.
Well, anytime you want to come back during the campaign and fill us in on it.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah,
that's great, man. Very kind of you.
1041, little bit of change. We're going to be talking to Lev, Illinois Department of Natural Resources next, learning about the great events coming down the pipeline at Pierre Marquette. You stay there, and I'll be here on Roku TV and RiverBender.com.